Hot Scots, immortal yearning, and grown men on their knees. I mean, I'm sold. She is ruthless. Something about me is I do love a man begging. Hello friends, welcome to the reading vlog. I just wanted to take advantage of this very vampiric, sparkling skin lighting we have going here right now and get the vlog started. We are reading Vampire Romance this week. I am about halfway through Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, and I have not been vlogging. I've been trying to focus on some other things and do some other kind of videos. So we are gonna just pick up right now, halfway through. I will chat a little bit about it, what I'm feeling. I'm loving it. And then I have another vampire romance that I'm going to be talking about. I actually had a mutual on TikTok send me an author, Kelsey McKnight. Shout out. I will leave their TikTok. She does a TikTok joint with one of her other author friends who I'm looking forward to reading after this. So I was very thankful. She sent me this book, an ebook form, so I can read it on my Kindle. But the caveat to that is I have to finish Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil because my library loan actually expired for it. And I turned my Kindle on airplane mode, which I never do that. But I turned it on airplane mode so that I could finish this because, to be honest, this is going kind of slowly. But we're going to get some of this done tonight. And then we're going to read another vampire book because that's honestly what I'm in the mood for. So welcome to the vlog. I do some watering out here this morning. Check on some of my little plants here. I'll show you. This strawberry. It's putting off a few. This is actually an oregano that overwintered, so it lived through the winter inside very barely. And then these are ones that I started from seed, so I just added them. The thyme. I think we'll probably add, I have more cilantro. Probably add this. This is doing good. This is lavender. These are both actually lavender that I all started from seed, and I just transplanted these the other day. That's all the herbs. So unlikable, so unmemorable. I feel like they're There's a hair on this, of course. If it's not my hair, my dog's hair, my cat's hair, I mean, it's not a surface in my house because, to be fair, I'm reusing this glass from last night without washing it because that's just where we're at in life. It is Friday night. Cheers. Hans really wants me to be outside with him and I need to kick his ball around, but the bugs are just, this is like peak bug hatching season. I'm looking at a cricket / grasshopper on my screen door as we speak. I have mosquito bites on my body already. I figured I would just chat a little bit about Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil because I have not yet. Well, I just have some of this and before I just dive back into it. So I am loving this. If you're not aware, this is like a sapphic vampire novel. Reads very historical fiction, which I like. A lot of this was set in like 1500s, 1600s Spain. Just really like culturally interesting. One of the main female vampires in this is like, she went hardcore vamp. When she was turned, she started any and everything she could get her hands on. And it's kind of like, it feels like it's mainly her book, even though there are 3 POVs in this book. So I feel like I wish I was getting a little bit more, because I just love a dual POV. I know a lot of people don't, but I really do. So I feel like I'm kind of lingering a little too long for my liking in certain POVs and spaces where I'm like, okay, like, I feel like it's unbalanced a little bit, where sometimes it's like, okay, I had 8 chapters with her, and then I have 3 short chapters with the other person, and then I have 6 more chapters with her, and then 1 chapter with another person, and then it goes back to her for 6 chapters, and it's like, she definitely is the most interesting at this point, but I just feel like it's a little bit unbalanced. And then we got the third POV like halfway through the book. We're basically kind of time jumping. She's obviously immortal because she's a vampire. So she has been meeting various random kind of vampires like in her lifetime, like on her journey. And they are kind of like teaching her the ropes because she is like kind of fresh, you know, in terms of vampires. So I'm enjoying that. It's interesting that she is kind of like meeting and being taken under the wing of mostly men vampires, because she's so averse to men. Not just she's averse to men, like she had an abusive, bad relationship with her arranged marriage husband, but she's also a lesbian. Then she also is trusting still of these vampire men who are kind of taking under their wing. There was one where it was like him and his kind of partner, like his wife, who he had turned, and now she has met another man who had a human lover. That was, I really liked them. So we're kind of like just getting side characters here and there, but overall it is kind of slow, I will admit. But I'm loving the writing, loving the characters, loving the vibes. The vibes and the setting is all there. I'm at 61%. So at this point, I am just now getting introduced to the third POV, which is, who is she? I've been taking kind of a long time to read this because I've been kind of busy. Yes, I'm remembering. So we're basically now getting to the point where all 3 of these people are connected, because you didn't know how they were connected before because of the time jumps too. Like this first one character is like 1500s, but then you're in a current day with like a girl at college. And then there's this other third character who's going to tie them all kind of together. I love that kind of stuff. We are going to sit outside and read some of this now. Good morning. To make some breakfast after I just did a couple chapters of this. So I am now 82%. Realized that I didn't chat with you about how I feel about one of these main characters, because she is ruthless. Like, this is, that I can recall at least, the first vampire book that I have read where I felt like they were just killing for the sake of killing and like being evil and hunting and having no remorse, having no moral compass. Like, you know, I feel like in, you know, Twilight, the Cullens hunt animals. In other books, they will drink like human mortal blood that they give willingly, you know, and it's like set up in a way where they willingly give it, they don't kill them. But this is the first, I think, instance that I've read, because I have not been a big vampire girly my whole life. I'm kind of new to this. Where the vampire, she is just, and she's going for the kill, you know, and it's like she's killing them every time. It's not just she's drinking blood and leaving them, you know, or they can't like wipe their memories or like anything like that. So it's very gruesome and like violent in that way. And I have found that I don't like that. I don't like her. And she basically took in another one of the characters, Charlotte. And Charlotte is so naive because she was only 18 when she was turned. And so she like didn't ever realize that you could like just drink blood like in a cup and not like kill someone every single time you needed to hunt and drink, you know. And like Sabine, the character who is very vicious and who's been basically killing, it's kind of setting it up where she's like the pinnacle. She is like a example of the worst of what vampires can be, like the most ruthless. Like there is like a mother vampire who is like turning everyone else and kind of carries on in different generations through different people. And there's always like the mother, the widow, ruthless. And I'm like, damn girl, like now it's showing that like vampires, yes, they're immortal, but they eventually, after so many hundreds of years, lose all reference of like mortality and humanness, and they are just turning and rotting. And I'm assuming they kind of return to the soil eventually, you know, bury our bones, etc. This poor Charlotte was turned because she just like because she has always like, you know, been interested in women. And then the first woman who reciprocated that feeling and, you know, swept her off her feet happened to be an evil vampire. And you're just like, girl, and she's so naive. She doesn't know anything about it. She doesn't know that promises are bound, you know, that if she promises something to a vampire, it's a physical thing. She can't break it. She doesn't know that you don't have to actually kill everyone, that you can just drink blood. She doesn't know that you can, you know, prolong your hunger and your hunt weeks and months, like another vampire had tried to teach Sabine. And she was like, she did it, but she wasn't interested. She just wants to kill as many people as she can with no regard, you know? So that part of it, I wouldn't say I'm not disliking it because it's interesting and it's like a different kind of story, but I don't specifically like her character, you know, where I'm just like, wow, you're fucking evil. Like, and I feel so bad for this Charlotte character. We're getting to the point where a lot of stories are connecting, a lot of characters are, I'm finding out who they were, you know, 200 years ago, now they're still in present day kind of a thing. So I'm enjoying that part of it. So that's the update. I'm gonna really try and finish this today because I think we're gonna have a low-key day. It's gonna be like warm. It's still gonna be 70 degrees today, but it's like cloudy. It's not that like nice of a day. And like I said, Matt worked a very long day today or yesterday, and so he just wants to kind of hang out and chill today, which I am totally okay with. So I don't know if we're gonna be doing a lot of like yard work and house projects today. So I'm gonna make breakfast. He just got out of the shower. I'll update you later. Hello. I have finished the 500-page book that is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, and I have thoughts. So it is Sunday morning, and so before I get started on my next read, I do just want to chat about this. I wanted this to be a 5-star very badly, but it's not quite there. I think this is a really great 4-star for me. I did really enjoy it as someone who, I've said it before, is okay with vibes. I am a vibes reader. V.E. Schwab is heavy on setting, vibes, and gorgeous writing style. Those things for me can carry a book very far. However, my biggest issue with this was the pacing. Like, I feel like the first half, 250 pages, 200 pages at least of this book, were very slow. And I feel like the plot was just not moving forward enough. It was basically just one POV of like our main character in the 1500s basically, and her not wanting to be forced to marry her husband, figuring out how to get out of that, lusting, you know, kind of yearning after her maid. And then another POV of a girl in college who is like out having a party, and then she wakes up and she feels weird. And like, I feel like that is only like, that's the only thing that happens for 200 pages. Just like that. And so the pacing there, I feel like didn't move fast enough for me, even as someone who loves V.E. Schwab's writing. But there is a point where it needs something. And so the second half of this book really picked up, and I was reading it faster. I was way more interested. I really enjoyed having all 3 different POVs in each different period. And it could have been a 5-star if it would have kept going up towards the end, but the ending was very rushed, anticlimactic, and unsatisfying for me. I enjoyed like getting there. I enjoyed the kind of message, but I just feel like overall the pacing didn't quite do it for me. The ending didn't quite do it for me. And like I said, I don't love the idea of like, I don't know, it is very interesting and different because it really is a book about humans, like not humans, but people. If you know, a vampire is a person. They're not a human, but they're a person and their personhood, about hunger and addiction and power and toxicity. It was very, I do feel like the themes of that were very strong, of like, you're not necessarily supposed to like all the characters, which I didn't, but I appreciated them as a character in a book. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciated them as a message of like, this is what happens when you have no reins on your desires and your obsessions and your compulsions, and you just take, kill, and have no moral compass, you know? Basically, you know, each POV, each character kind of showed you something different about how people handle something like that, being a vampire, becoming a vampire. And it was really, I feel like, about taking something from someone else without their permission, taking their mortality, basically. Many of the characters, Lest for one, had that choice and mortality taken from them. And then the other one POV was them taking that from someone and having no remorse about it. Saying, well, that's life. Life's tough. I had to go through shit, so this person, they can deal. Like, everything dies. Everything, you know, definitely interesting looks on that. What does it really mean to be moral when everything dies and everyone kills to eat? You know, it's like the circle of life, and like, where do people draw the line? Where is that line drawn, especially for a vampire? I did enjoy it, but it was not quite 5 stars. 4.5, as usual, V.E. Schwab sets the scene impeccably, sets the most gorgeous, lush, I mean, the gothic vibes were just off the charts. That's really what I love right now. That aspect of it was done perfectly. Like, I love the descriptions of all the different places we went. Like, we were in Spain and Italy and England, and then we end in like Boston. Very happy I got to that one. That was a majorly high anticipated read for me. Something I really wanted to get to this year. So today is Sunday, so I know I'm gonna have some time where I want to just read because it is an overcast, kind of cozy day. So I will be starting These Immortal Vows by Kelsey McKnight. This, like I mentioned, was kindly sent to me in ebook for this by the author. Apparently this is the first in a series, Bound by Blood. To all the readers who like hot Scots, immortal yearning, and grown men on their knees, I mean, I'm sold. I'm sold. That's insane. And the prologue starts in 1745 France. So again, I am so here for that. So this has 279 pages, which is perfect. Familiars serve a vampire's command, but hearts never obey. Cassandra Rollins was born to serve the immortal, a human familiar bound to the will of vampires. She spent her life walking the razor's edge between power and peril. No creature, living or undead, has ever shaken her control until him. Oh, this is going to be a hard name to pronounce. Ruairidh. Ruard? A Scottish vampire, forged in battle and haunted by centuries of war, is ready to abandon his wandering life. But when he settles in New York's glittering vampire court, he's forced to rely on Cassandra, his reluctant guide and the one human who defies him at every turn. Their fiery clash ignites a forbidden desire neither can contain, yet when vampires and their human familiars begin to vanish, their uneasy partnership turns into a fight for survival. In a city pulsing with dark magic and ancient rivalries, Cassandra must decide whether to trust the immortal who tempts her heart or risk losing everything to the darkness hunting them both. In a world ruled by blood and power, love is the most dangerous vow of all. Exciting! I do enjoy that. I'm going to have to Google this name. Let's Google R-U-A-I. This makes me feel extremely dyslexic. And this first thing in Google is that pronunciation. It's a Scottish Gaelic name, typically pronounced Ruari, roughly 3 syllables. Ruari or Ruri, commonly anglicized as Rory, originates from Rud and Re, meaning red-haired king.
Rudy.
Rudy.
Rudy. Or sometimes it might be said, depending on the local accent, as Rudy. Rudy.
So kind of like Rudy, Rory, it sounds like, kind of. Rudy. Okay. Sounds very enemies to lovers, mortal, vampire type of situation. Love the setting of that. Love those tropes. Good morning. So I awoke today to a very, very twilight, dreary day outside for May 3rd or something. May 4th. May the 4th. I should be watching Star Wars later tonight too. But right now I'm kind of in a twilight mood because of this, because this is a vampire vlog. I am reading a vampire romance. Like, look at this. So I'm going to put on some of the Twilight movies while I do some computer work here. And I am about 10% through with these Immortal Vows. I didn't read as much yesterday as I would have liked. Matt was gonna be gone, and then he was actually here. So we just had a lot of quality time this weekend and did, as we usually do, garden stuff. And I am gonna be reading some more of that later, but I'm just wanted to show setting up my kind of Twilight mood for the day. I will be reading some of that later. We'll take a little break from work stuff. But right now I'm working on digital product stuff, getting shop stuff going. I do have an email for a client that is still in like my weekly rotation, so that's good. Oh yeah. And tomorrow, guess what tomorrow is, you guys? This is turning out to be perfect time for a vampire vlog. Tomorrow, Dracula Love Tale comes out on DVD. Let's see, so these Immortal Vows. I am liking it because, again, similar to Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, this is a vampire dynamic that I had not read, which is the POV of a vampire man, which he's Scottish. Amazing. So that's different in and of itself. But it also seems like it's going to be like a he falls first. Like, he's very like flirty and like forward with the female character already. I personally like that. I like both. Like, I like that dynamic, and I also like a brooding, like, mean man. I'm just a Gemini. I'm kind of open-minded to whatever, you know? As long as you're charismatic, I'm pretty much down. Anyway, and then the female main character, Cassandra, she's a familiar. That's basically saying she was, like, raised up from being a kid. Like, her parents were familiars, so they, like, work for vampires, and that's, like, it's like in their blood, in their family. Like, she's been like working with and known vampires since she was like a kid because her parents did it. I like that. I like that dynamic. So that's where we're at right now. I'm not that far into it, but I'm happy this is like gonna go kind of quick for me, and it's not gonna be super heavy like a Bury Our Bones. Other than that, I don't have any other reads going right now. I'm focusing on just that right now because I decided against starting the Iron Gold audiobook, which I got from my library. That was a 23-hour audiobook. And when I was looking into it, I was like, you know what? The last book of the series doesn't even have a release date yet. I personally think I'm going to wait until that's a release date because those books are very heavy and there's a lot of plot going on with those. Like, those are not vibes reads. Like, major political events happening, war, major character arcs. Like, I think I would rather wait and hold off on that until I know when the final book's going to be out. I have a release date. I can give myself a recap of the original trilogy, which I've heard actually there's a podcast for Red Rising that does like chapter summaries. I might do that. I might watch some YouTube videos, you know. I might reread them. Probably not, but who knows. Then I'll dive into the Iron Golds, whatever else it is, Lightbringer, and then the final books. I'm going to turn on Twilight and just have a cozy day on the couch. You guys, guess what just came in the mail and what we're doing tonight and what's perfect for a fucking vampire vlog. I can't believe I'm holding this in my hands. This feels so surreal because I feel like I have experienced so much of this through my phone. Like, I've watched the movie. Like, my cat is gonna attack my arm. Don't, Archie. He is mean and psycho. I am so excited. I was having a little bit of like an emo day because I went to Costco and spent too much money. It was all stuff we needed, but I was feeling very down about like the fucking economy and like I still haven't found a job and I have no money, but I'm still having to like spend money and like it's been kind of getting to me lately, and then this just fixed everything and now I don't care. And I'm like, it's a floating rock, everything will be fine. I can watch this movie. And everything's gonna be great. We also got a new couch that I didn't have to buy, which was great. But hopefully we can get that together tonight. Matt and I can just like take a couple shots, get our new couch together, and cuddle up and watch the best fucking movie ever made. Not really. It's not. It's not the best movie ever made, you guys. I've talked about that on the channel. I know it has its issues. It's not. But to me, in my heart and in my soul, it's perfection, and I can't believe I own this. I'm a big physical media girly. Yeah, so update on these immortal vows. I didn't have a chance to read it all yesterday. I was basically like, we went and house sat for my parents, and I did read a little bit then, but it's just been kind of busy the last couple days. So I've only been able to read like some here and there, but I'm like 70% of the way through. You guys, it's really sweet and fun, and I'm really enjoying it. Again, with the only thing with some of these vampire books for me personally is the pacing. I just want like a little more happenings, a little more fast paced. I would like a little more of the world building, but overall this is definitely like a romance focused kind of vampire fantasy romance. And this is an instance where the main male character, it's like a he falls first trope, which I love. Something about me is I do love a man begging, a man on his knees, a man who falls first. In books, I feel like love bombing doesn't exist to me. I'm just like, you're obsessed with her as you should. I get it in some instances where the couple like just happens to just meet and then they're already like, I trust you, I love you, you say that this is the way it is, I'll believe you because it's you, and they've known each other for like a week. That I don't like. But this, they have known each other for a long time. They've been in the same circles for a long time. And something I really appreciate in romance books is when there's kind of like traumatic events or just life things that are happening with two characters who are getting through it together and they're like supporting each other. And it's just circumstances that are kind of like they didn't expect and are outside of their control. So it doesn't feel forced. It's just, he was literally on his knees begging for it. It is hitting all of those marks, and I'm absolutely loving the Scottish vampire. The Scottish vampire is doing it for me. The kilt is doing it for me. The big burly man is doing it for me. So I am really liking their dynamic so far. I'm really liking it. Like I said, I would like a little bit more magic, a little bit more like, it's just me personally, how I like my kind of romantic fantasy romance. I like kind of like an equal romance world, or a little heavier on the fantasy than the romance. This is pretty heavy on the romance in my opinion, but I do love a romance. Like, I even love a contemporary romance here and there, I do love it. I am a romantic and sap at heart. I will like, there's also no like cheesy moments, like cheesy dialogue, nothing like that. Another thing I will say too, even though it is a contemporary setting, I'm pretty positive, yeah, they have like a phone and they're texting, and it's in like New York and stuff. I think I did the bad thing where I started another fantasy book and now I'm getting their locations confused. I started listening to the second Mortal Instruments book because I wanted an audiobook, and those are just like funny and silly. I think they're both set in New York, if I'm being so honest. Anyway, it's a contemporary setting, but there's no like cheesy weird things where they're like mentioning TikTok and stuff, which I don't like in books. There's nothing like that, like pop culture references that are making me like There might be some here and there, but they are not enough that I have remembered. So they obviously made sense and weren't jarring. I don't have that much more of it, and it is Friday and I need to get this vlog up on Sunday, so it's gonna happen. My cat is being insane right now. Look at my cat. Archie. 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 He is locked in. So, one box was missing. So we're not completely done with the couch. But it is here. It's a little wonky right now. It's not completely connected or missing the arms. Did go to Costco yesterday and get our croissants. So I'm gonna have that for breakfast with, I know you want your breakfast. You need your breakfast too. My mom gave me this because she doesn't like it and she got it, or someone gave it to her, or she got it for free or something. So this is Bon Maman's version of Nutella, basically. So, do you want your breakfast too? You want your breakfast? Yeah. So because Matt didn't properly finish my couch, I'm gonna sit right here and finish these immortal vows. I have an hour left, Kindle says. So we're gonna see how fast I can read it. It is 10:45. I want to finish this because I'm really enjoying it. And tomorrow's gonna be a busy day around the house and in the garden. So I'm not gonna have time. My prediction is a 4-star right now. It's feeling 4-star. I've really been enjoying it. I just got a twist I did not see coming. I did not see that coming. But then, you know, it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, yeah, like, why was that person so important? I don't read books like trying to figure out what's going to happen. Like, I just like to just let it unfold. I don't try and like ruminate too much on what's the third act twist gonna be, or like, you know, this person's gonna be the bad guy. Like, I just kind of let it happen, but I did not expect that. I did not expect that. So we are 80% now. I am cozy in this chair, but there's just a part, oh my God, I'm like, so this book is not, it's not Dracula, okay, but everything is Dracula in my brain. And there is a part and he is fighting, this giant Scottish man is fighting like a whole slew of enemies, you know, and I'm just picturing in my head the Dracula scene of him slashing through everyone to get to her, and then line says his gaze never left hers, and he has like the long hair, and like I'm just picturing the Dracula gaze of those burning eyes, the gaze never lifting, the eye contact. That does it for me every time. The eye contact, truly. I think it's so underrated. Like, just in general, in romance, like, in life. I don't know. I just feel like not many people, especially with, like, Gen Zs and, like, just people are so disconnected, I feel, these days. That, like, people who maintain eye contact and who don't shy away from eye contact, that's insane. It's so rare, I feel like, being pulled away from her and your gaze is not moving. That is so hot. That is so special. So needless to say, I'm loving it. I'm emotionally invested at this point. So I'm almost done. Yes. Oh my God. I love it. Yep, I'm obsessed with that. 4 stars for sure. Only because, like I said, I wanted a little more fantasy. Like, wanted just a little more action, lore type of stuff. It was heavy on the romance, which I still loved. Loved the main male character, loved the kind of bits of Scottish sayings and language in it as well. Loved that he was obsessed with her cat. I love the female main character. Cassandra was like 30, in her 30s, 35, I think. So overall, there was definitely glimmers of my Dracula love in the Yearning and the Catholic Church, references, and how that pertains to like vampire lore. I do love that, and I feel like I don't see that as much. I do enjoy that kind of aspect of it. Love the ending. Excited for book 2. Very excited for book 2. Really, really recommend These Immortal Vows by Kelsey McKnight. Absolutely. I was reading it faster than I have been reading other things. Like, I've just been having kind of trouble focusing on books. And this one, I was able to like sit down and I was really like flipping the pages, Kindle pages, but still. I think that's going to be the end of this vlog. I do need to edit this. We didn't get to watch Dracula last night because of the whole couch debacle. It was a thing. I honestly just was like reading some of this and it was just like too chaotic. We didn't get it done in time and then Matt fell asleep. So we'll be watching that tonight. Be sure to check out my gardening homestead channel. I will link it here and in the description because we're putting all of our starts and things in the garden this weekend. Our temps are high enough that everything will be good. We're getting a lot of sun. It's going to be really warm this week. So lots of fun stuff happening over there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the vlog, if you love vampire romance, fantasy, all those kind of things, then please subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.
Thank you.